All right, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about shields. And how shields are used in armored combat, different styles of shields, difference between a shield you might use for a duel versus a melee, things like that. And I brought a couple of examples of shields that I own. Before we do that though, I do want to take a minute and talk about a new clothing line I set up for Woodchuck Night. So you can see, look at that, it was hidden. I've got this here, my new Woodchuck Night clothing line, t-shirts, there's shorts, pants. It's a really cool logo you can see right there. Maybe we'll do a little zoom in on it. And yeah, if you're interested in helping support the channel, buying some cool gear, there's Woodchuck Night shirts. There's a new shirt up there for an axe pick that actually went viral on the internet. So live, laugh, love, my 3 axes. Check it out. There's 17 rounds, a reference to fights where we've had where they just seem to last forever and you might as well be fighting 17 rounds. You'll actually hear that if you watch some of the Knights Hall streams. People will chant that. 17 rounds, and so we got shirts for that. Just ways to support the channel, make some cool merch, get some stuff out there in the field. If you want to purchase it, I'll put a link in the description below and you can just go there, buy stuff. It's all free shipping, which is kind of cool. And you know, a little bit of the money goes back and helps me buy gear, video equipment, things like that, helps support the channel. But mostly it's just to get out some cool stuff and have some of our own logos and art out there. Yeah, these are nice t-shirts. These are heathered, really soft, really comfortable. I like them, so you'll see me wearing a lot of my gear in the videos as they come in the line. But today we're here to talk about shields. So let's start with why would you use a shield? I think it's pretty obvious. You want to block stuff, right? Well, this here, I also wanted to show this off today. This is my brand new heater shield. Friend Megan painted it for me. Put my cool my family crest on it, which is the oak leaf. So you'll see a red oak leaf on a lot of my equipment, including on the shirt here. Actually got the family crest on there for my family. And we did a kind of a modified pattern. The black on here is for when I fight with the executioners, our regional team, and the red and whites kind of become the color scheme of my helmet and all my equipment. So anyways, I think this is super cool, right? So this is a heater shield. It's a big shield. This type of shield we only really use in duels primarily. So the point of the shield obviously is to cover a lot of space. So if I'm fighting with an arming sword, right, I'm getting here, I get to cover my leg, my head, I get a lot of blocking with a shield of this size. So this is really effective for duels, for anything that's point-based, where my biggest concern is getting blocks. You'll find that this is like when you think of a traditional knight shield, people see this all the time. This is what people think of often, and this is what you will use just for that. But you don't see it very often in across armored combat, bohurt, whatever you're calling it, because it's really a limited tool for a specific type of event. Where what you will see most fighters using consistently is a version of a shield that is commonly called a punch shield. So I brought out my punch shield here to show. This one's a little worn and beat. I actually have a second one as well. So a punch shield, this is a teardrop design, but it can be ovaled. I've seen coffin-shaped ones. I've seen more like thin ones that cover less space. And the advantage of a punch shield is, as again, it's lighter, it's smaller. I can still use it to block weapons, but again, I can punch with it, right? So it's more of an offensive tool than necessarily a big heater shield. It's much lighter, so it's gonna wear my arms down less, but it gives you that ability, to be throwing strikes, still covering myself, still blocking. I can stop axe shots. You see there's a lot of marks and nicks and dings on it. I've blocked many axe shots with it. But allows you then to throw those offensive punches, drive my opponent back. So this is a great shield for a melee. As a team fight, if you're a one-handed weapon and a shield fighter, you'd be using something often like a punch shield. It's often very common in pro fights or night fights, depending on which league you're in. Very similar type of event, which is much more of the MMA style we're fighting, where it's not point based. It's judged on who lands the most strikes, and these strikes will count, right? So you get points for that, unlike a duel, which is generally just weapon strikes. So, you know, think about it logically. In a duel, I want the biggest defense I can have, so a big heater shield versus a smaller punch shield, because I'm not getting any points for throwing those shots. And where in a fight where I'm using both weapons, I want something more maneuverable, something I can throw with, and I can still cover and block. Those are the two kind of common wooden style shields you'll see. Let's talk about layout and design. So I'm talking about this only from the Armored Combat Sports League in particular. HMB has some slightly different rules. Generally with ours, you are gonna have to have, and you can look up the actual specifics of measurements if you wanna make them, but you have to have some sort of wrapping around the edge of the shield so it's not just raw wood. So this is just a piece of plywood. It's got a slight curve to it, very minimal in this one. Covered in canvas, so I've got 2 layers of canvas on here, and then it's actually just wrapped in rawhide. This is dog bone toys actually that's been put in water till it became malleable, wrapped, and then it was sewn on, and I just used paracord for this one to sew it on here. So this has been a shield I've been using for the last couple years. It's starting to get kind of beat up to the point that it's not going to be functional. It'll become a wall hanger. And the back is just leather straps, so you're going to have either a cross strap like this, some put a single with a block of wood, but something to hold on to and strap it around your arm down here. That's the most kind of common design for a punch shield. Like I said, different shapes, but they're all going to have similar styles to this. Wood, canvas, some sort of edging wrapping it, and then you're going to have your handle combination here. If you look at my heater shield, again, similar idea. It's going to be a wood shield. It's got canvas covering it, and this one has leather wrapped around the edge. This is one I did not make. I bought it. And I bought it because I finally found a left-handed heater shield. So one of the differences, if you look at a punch shield, generally the strapping is straight on the back, where the heater shield is going to be angled. So you can see I've actually got my gauntlet in there. It's angled up so that when I put my arm in it, you can see the angle there allows it easier for me to keep it straight. I don't have to torque. If it was straight, the shield would be across there. So I can kind of just rest this now, a little more comfortable. And a lefty shield's going to be strapped this way, a righty shield would be strapped the other if it was on my opposite arm. So again, I found a lefty shield. I picked it up because I'm a lefty and it's hard to find stuff for lefties. So it was great, and I haven't had a chance to fight with it yet. It's all pretty and brand new and perfect art on it. So those are the 2 common wood shields, kind of what they used for. The other shield you'll see people fight with is a buckler. A buckler is it's generally going to be mostly made out of metal. They do make wooden bucklers, but it has this boss in the center, so it's going to fit your hand inside of it like this. And historically, these were small shields carried to use with another weapon. They're relatively light, and they're used to be pushed way out here. As you can see, if it's tiny here, covers only a little bit of my body. A lot of me is exposed to shots. When I push it out, I can block and cover a lot of myself this way. So kind of a traditional style of fighting. In our sport, this is actually kind of a really beat up, overly heavy one. It's been bashed on. You'll find this used really in a couple ways. One of them is a sword and buckler duel. It's a specific duel with slightly different rules. Usually it's a 1st to 5 hits. So you have the buckler and sword, and that is just a style of fighting. So if you wanted to do that, you'd have to have a buckler and a sword to do it. The other thing you'll see is people will use these in melees. People will use them sometimes because they're smaller. They're a little more maneuverable than the punch shield. And I've seen even really tiny ones because it kind of covers your hand, protects it. You can block if you're good at it, but it doesn't impede your grappling as much if you're trying to grapple somebody because it's a smaller weapon. And the other thing you'll see some people do, which this one is not, is they'll actually raise the handle out here a little bit so your hand fits flush to it that way, and then strap the buckler to their arm. So it becomes basically a mini punch shield. So you raise the hand out here, you raise that handle out at an angle, put it here, and you're going to strap it so you can throw shots like this. So it's not really a traditional buckler anymore. It's more of a punch shield that you strap to yourself. It's just got that blade, so your strike is going to land a lot harder, give you a little extra reach, and you can still do some blocking with it, but not as much as if you have it with that center grip. The one type of shield I don't have here is like a center gripped large shield. So a center grip round shield, you can do a center gripped even heater style shield. Again, another style of dual shield. That big shield is going to be great for duels, great for blocking. And again, if you hit that center grip on a big shield, you push it out, it can cover a lot more space. It gets heavier. There's disadvantage and advantage based on your fighting style. I prefer, as of now, this style here. I feel like I can kind of rest my arm and still get a lot of coverage. I can block a lot of myself very quickly. Makes it hard for people to get in, and it's a little more intimidating when you're fighting someone with a bigger shield for a duel and you're trying to find those little areas to get into. They've got so much of it covered. So why wouldn't you use this in a melee? So there's a really good question of that. In a team fight, in a fight that's more about knocking your opponent to the ground than scoring points. Couple reasons. One, its offensive capabilities are limited. It's hard to throw punches with something like this that are really effective. You can do it, but it's hard to do. The other reason is it's because of the size and how big it is, it's easy for opponents to grab and control you. So if someone grabs the edge of the shield and pulls it out, I'm now kind of at their mercy. It's a weak muscle position. It's even hard for me to like hold it out here. Just hold it up is heavy. So if that gets pulled out, I'm at a bad spot. With a punch shield, smaller shields like bucklers, it's harder to do that. They're quicker. I can get them out of there. The angles aren't as aggressive when they grab it. So if you pull here and pull my arm out, like I'm in a lot of trouble, right? It's harder to do that with the smaller shields. You see that smaller shield's kind of a compromise between safety, maneuverability, and the ability to be offensive with it. Yeah, so these are 3 of the common shields you'll see. You know, I haven't even gotten to use this yet. I can't wait for my first duel with it. I've been waiting forever to have a big shield. I've done a couple duels where my opponents had large shields and I had only my punch shield. It definitely felt the disadvantage when it was points based and not about taking the opponent down. So yeah, if you have questions, you want to know more, anything I said didn't make sense, like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that wonderful stuff. Again, check out the merch store for me. Help support anyone in the community. There's a whole bunch of great people out there making content right now. If they have stores, go check out something, buy something, you know, spend the 25 bucks, get a cool shirt, and make them feel good. So I appreciate everybody watching this video. I'm gonna do a little rappel work with this, and then after that, I hope you have a great day.